huge. Wow! Oh my gosh. Holy sh! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Look at the size of this octopus. All right, let's get back to shore. Oh my goodness. That is the biggest octopus I have ever seen. Wow! All right, let's move back where he can, he's sucking all over me. Huge, huge octopus. Wow! All right, let's move up, let's move up. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how big this octopus is, guys. This is unbelievable. Here, I'm gonna set it down gently here. Keep an eye on that octopus. They can move on land. I haven't had to get gloves on. Octopus have beaks that not only are sharp, but they have venom.
Oh, Mark, be quick, he's getting away.
All right, I'm getting him, I got him. Okay, holy cow, guys. I'm gonna get it hydrated. I got to put gloves on because I don't want to take a bite from that. See that beak right down there? Now, this isn't the only venomous octopus that we could run into out here in the tide pools of Australia. There are also blue ring octopus out here, and a single bite from one of those, that could be fatal. Wow, it is so strong. It just grips to the rocks. Just being really gentle right now. Don't want to hurt the octopus. Look at that, cephalopod. This is a star octopus, which is actually a new species. It used to be considered a common octopus, but it has just officially been named. I cannot believe we caught this one on camera. They're venomous and lethal to humans, but taking a bite from a beak of a creature this size, that would put me in a world of hurt. This is one of the Mac Daddy finds that you could ever come across here in the tide pool. And I cannot believe this. This is the best octopus catch I've ever had. I'm so pumped, and we weren't even out today really filming. We were scouting this location, and we looked down off the cliff, and boom, we saw this octopus hunting in these shallow rock pools. Luckily, we brought our cameras with us. Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Andrew, reach out and touch the octopus. What does it feel like?
It's so soft.
Whoa, did you see it just change color?
Whoa.
They are incredibly adaptable creatures. You can really see it changing color when I hold it here in the water. It changes from light color to dark color, and that's because it's trying to blend in with its surroundings and confuse me while I'm holding it. It has the ability to not only change its color, but also change its shape.
What's it feel like, Mark?
It is unbelievably gummy feeling. Definitely a little bit slimy. Those suckers are so sticky when they grab on, and it has the ability to like let go like that. I'm not dropping the octopus, it's dropping itself. Octopus are also very intelligent, and it's going to try a bunch of different tactics out here to escape, including becoming slippery and blob-like, almost like turning itself into a ball of jello, which is gonna make it much harder for a predator to hold on to. I'm just trying to give it support, and they can be out of water. They have the ability to walk on land, move from tide pool to tide pool, and we caught this one out hunting for crabs. Related, of course, to the snail, but looks nothing like the snails I'm used to seeing. Look at how well this octopus is keeping its shape too. Oh, and those suction cups. The suction that it has with its arms is really hard to believe. This cephalopod is so incredibly strong. Look at that octopus. One of the most bizarre life forms on the planet. Also, one of the most intelligent creatures. In scientific experiments, they've actually been known to solve mazes, and they are master escape artists. Look at that. Look at those eyes. Oh, what an alien. Cephalopods have complex eyes, and there's so much that we don't know about these creatures. One of my favorite movies lately has been The Octopus Teacher, and seeing this octopus just is like taking me back to that film and just how intelligent these creatures are. So we want to be extremely gentle. We have no idea what's happening right now in this octopus's life. What we do know is that it is not breeding, because a female that just recently laid eggs would never leave them behind. So because this one was out hunting, we know this octopus has not yet bred. And look at that. Are you able to get a shot of those suckers? Look at those. And it has the ability to just grip on. Like if I hold it right here on my arm, it'll sense the ability to grip. I can feel it like tense up when it wants to move. And then like in a second, it'll just go limp and slip away. I'm doing everything I can right now to be gentle and give this octopus support so you can see it. Unfortunately, a lot of octopus that are caught here in Australia are actually harvested for food. But rest assured, this octopus is going right back where we found it. Okay guys, even with gloves on, I'm trying not to take a bite from this octopus. They can pierce skin and gloves, but they are venomous. Look at that, it's undoing my watch. These creatures are so intelligent. Wow, look at that, look how strong it is. It's able to support all of its weight, just gripping onto my watch and my wrist. I'm trying to give it support, but I also don't want to take a bite. Where's that mouth? Okay, and it can be out of the water for periods of time. I have continued to dunk the octopus. Oh my gosh, it's really on me. Hang on guys, I gotta adjust.
His beak is really close to your wrist.
Yeah, it's very close. It's really trying to get me. Look at that, it's got my watch. And then I'm supporting the weight of its body so we don't just leave it hanging, but this octopus is so incredibly strong. Like, it's almost like a constrictor. I'm trying to like get it off of me. Ah, come on buddy, come on. Come on. Oh my gosh, it's really on me guys, hang on. Do you hear that? Hear that suction popping? Ah, and it does kind of hurt. I won't lie, an octopus this size, those suckers on my skin, look at that. That does not feel good. Those suckers are really into me. You can see where they're like leaving behind suction marks. Wow, holy smokes. Okay, I gotta get it away from my wrist. That's making me nervous. All right, hang on guys. Let me get these off. Oh, one by one. Come on, buddy, come on. Come on, let go, let go. Come on. It is so strong, I'm trying to, oh, took my watch off, look at that. You wonder if octopuses are smart or not? This one literally just unlatched my watch. I'm not kidding, but look how powerful those suckers are. I am in awe of this creature. Not only are they incredibly intelligent, but they are lethal predators. And for anybody who thinks an octopus isn't very strong, look at my wrist. Just sucking onto my wrist right there with its suction cups on its arms. Look at that, I'm gonna have like raspberries for a while. But totally worth it to get hands on. But you wanna talk about the grand prize of any tide pool expedition? How about finding a giant octopus? Wow! It's hard to remember the last time I was this nervous in the presence of an animal. If you get bit, it's almost certain death. Oh, I'm shaking right now, like my feet are tingling. Right now, I am out tide pooling in Eastern Australia in search of the deadliest creature on the planet. The blue ring octopus has one of the most toxic venoms on Earth, and if we're lucky enough to find one, I'm going to attempt to touch it with my bare hands. But first things first, let's get looking. From experience tide pooling, the best results are usually from the edge. The further out you can go, the better. An octopus can change the texture of its skin, and it would just look like any of these. Now I've struck out on all 3 previous occasions trying to locate a blue ring octopus. I'm hoping 4th time's a charm. The difference this time is I'm searching with my good friend Miller Wilson, who has seen blue rings in these tide pools before. It's very hard to pick a octopus that's a master of camouflage out from this environment. It's about to be low tide, and this is probably one of the most dangerous tide pools that I have ever searched. So wearing some nice protective shoes, gloves. I don't really want to handle the octopus, but the gloves should protect me just in case. And of course, we still need to watch our steps, because if you look at this, all these rocks out here, exactly like a stonefish. And this is stonefish territory. The stonefish is the world's most venomous fish. If you step on one, your boots will not protect you. A single sting from a stonefish can be excruciating and can even be deadly. No octopus. Flipping's not really doing it, so I'm just gonna cruise to cover a lot of ground looking for movement. A lot of times I do see octopus moving from pocket to pocket, but they slink along the surface. So I'm just looking for any movement right now. Any movement, we're getting it though, feel it. Oh my God, I got an octopus. I got a blue ring, guys. It's right here. There it is. I missed it. It's right in here. It's right here. How could I miss that? That was it. Got it. Oh my gosh. We got one. Are you kidding me? Yes! Boom, baby. Yes. Holy cow. Miller, we're good. We got one. Can you help me get out of the net? So, you'll see I'm wearing gloves, guys, for a reason right now. This is a really good way to get a nip. That is not what I want. Put that guy in there. There we go. Hey, buddy. Let's talk about what we found. Right there in my hand is the most dangerous animal on the planet, at least when it comes to venom. Nothing in the animal kingdom is more toxic than this tiny little octopus. And yes, I am nervous about it, but before the end of this video, I will officially touch with my bare hand the most dangerous and toxic creature on Earth. There are actually 4 described varieties of blue ring octopus. This one is the blue lined octopus. It's the only one in the family that has these really cool, vivid blue pinstripes surrounding the body. It's almost like blue tiger stripes. So if this animal is at all threatened, here, I want to show you what it does. See that? Look at those rings go. Is that cool or what? Oh, okay. Stay down, stay down. If the octopus is at all agitated, not only does it flare up the rings on its arms, but those lines on its body glow. Back up, I'm toxic. That's your aposematic warning. And if you don't listen to me, I'm gonna give you a nip. And they show these vivid display warnings, not only for predators, but they also do it while they're hunting. They will do it to confuse or startle their would-be prey. This is what our octopus friend here is out hunting. This is a type of shore crab, but this would be the perfect food for the octopus. All right, we're gonna let this crab go. A single bite from this octopus could kill over 20 human beings. Needless to say, if I get nipped by this creature, that'll be the last nip I ever take. Now, these octopus are nocturnal, and they are masters of camouflage. Its normal color pattern perfectly blends in to this silty environment. They have 3 hearts that pump blue blood. They also have 9 brains. 1 central brain to run the entire nervous system, but then at the base of each arm, they have another brain. And you can see there, that little beak holds 2 venom sacs. And it's actually a toxin that it doesn't even produce itself, that it actually picks up through bacteria that it finds in the environment, through other organisms in this tide pool, and it collects this bacteria in its salival glands, and when it uses its beak to bite into its prey or a predator for escape, it will actually inject saliva into the wound. Once this saliva enters the bloodstream, you get infected with TTX. No animal has as lethal of a dose as the blue ring octopus does. If you get even a micro amount of TTX in your bloodstream, all you can do is be put on life support and hope that eventually your body works through the toxin on its own. And here's the worst part about it. While you might be in complete paralysis, you are lucid. There are survivors that have lived to tell the tale of having people try to resuscitate them, giving active CPR, and they weren't able to communicate, but they remember everything. And a lot of people get bitten by these octopus because of mistaken identity. You'll come out to a local beach in tide pool. Guys, turn your cameras right now. This is an active beach. People take their dogs and kids and play on this beach, and these animals live all along the coastline. Now, that's not to scare you. Obviously, we're out here actively looking for them. They're hard to find, but people do unfortunately come into contact with these octopus, and they will pick them up, play with them, and in that process, take a bite, which is completely painless, by the way. Initial symptoms are going to be things like tingling, difficulty breathing, difficulty thinking, loss of your motor skills, wobbly walking. If you think you are ever bitten by a blue ring octopus and you start to have symptoms, you have to be rushed to the hospital as fast as you can. We're talking like life flight situation, because you only have a matter of minutes before your whole nervous system starts to shut down and you're no longer able to breathe. Whew. And saying all that, while holding the octopus in your hand, it's hard to remember the last time I was this nervous in the presence of an animal. All right, the time has come for something that I've thought a lot about. Because I know the only way that this octopus has the ability to envenomate you is a bite with its beak, I'm going to attempt to touch with my bare hand the most lethal, toxic animal on the planet. In order to do that, I'm gonna just dump out this water. Look at that. The octopus is trying to mimic the color of the cube. Rest assured, this is just a camouflage tactic. They are masters at this. That octopus is still very much able to pounce and bite. They can spend extended periods out of water. All right, so just so you guys know, if this blue ring does snare me, we're going to the hospital. On 3. 1, 2, 3. That made me nervous. All right, lid back on. I don't think I was just bitten now, but I'm not completely sure. I had to take a break, guys, because like I'm definitely feeling a little lightheaded, like major anxiety. That animal right there, if you get bit, it's game over. It's lights out. Guys, I am like shaking right now. Like my feet are tingling. Things that you normally wouldn't pick up on, like heart rate, how I'm breathing, tingle feeling. Like I'm just from like all the adrenaline pumping through my body. And the emotions are intense, super intense. Gotta shake that off. The anxiety that I'm experiencing on camera is real, as I had almost identical symptoms to that of a blue ring bite. While I was 99% sure I wasn't bitten, we had to closely monitor my symptoms until we deemed it safe enough to continue filming. The symptoms of these bites can be subtle and can be hard to differentiate from anxiety and panic from other sources of stress. Please, never attempt to do what you are seeing in this video. I cannot stress enough, if you are bitten by a blue ring octopus, you must seek medical attention immediately. I think I'm all right. I think I'm okay to continue. Let's keep going. Okay. It's been a while since I've had this kind of reaction to being in an encounter with an animal. Like it's like my first time seeing a venomous snake. It's like all kinds of emotions right now. Just brushing up against one in the tide pool, whether you're walking around, if you accidentally touch one, you're gonna be just fine. It's like every other octopus. The difference only occurs when you take a bite from the beak right there. What I have here in front of me is a 3.5-foot electric eel, capable of producing an electric shock up to 860 volts, enough to take down a horse, let alone me. To put that in perspective, that's about 8 times the voltage that's in your household outlet. And I never stuck my finger in the outlet as a kid. I listened to my mom, but right now, I'm about to stick my hand in this tank to experience the shock of an electric eel. Can't tell, I am definitely nervous. This is easily the craziest thing I've ever done on the Brave Wilderness channel. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how nervous I am right now. All right, here we go. Gonna go for a shock. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now, before you witness the results of my first electrocution, it's important to note that this electric eel is an educational ambassador for its species and was not harmed by shocking me. Please do not attempt to recreate what you're about to see. This experiment was filmed under the supervision of professionals. Whoa! Wow! Holy smokes! Ooh, yeah, that you don't expect. You definitely do not expect that from a fish. Wow, holy mackerel. You see an animal like this, and yeah, it looks strange, but you never in your life expect a fish to be able to shock you like that. Whoa, as soon as I made contact with the eel, it was like instant, oh my gosh. The good news is, my first shock with the electric eel is over. The bad news is, that's not my last shock of the day. This is just the beginning. Underneath that tarp, we have an absolutely monstrous electric eel, one that will dwarf the size of this one. And in case you're wondering, yes, size does matter when it comes to shocks in electric eels. But before we get to the ultimate shock, We need to understand a little bit more about what's going on inside the body of this animal that allows it to produce this tremendous amount of energy. In order to do that, I've invited my good friend Diana, physics girl, here today to put me through a few more shock experiments so we can learn a little bit more about what's going on in the electric eel. All right, let's go meet up with Diana. Oh boy, Diana. I'm usually so excited to see you. Why am I nervous right now?
I mean, usually I haven't brought one of these to our reunions.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
What is this, speaking of?
Yeah, well, you wanted me to teach you about how shocking works, and so that's what we're gonna do with this thing here. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna turn this on. You're going to then touch it quickly, but as I turn it on, as it gets warmed up, you're gonna feel like a little tingling.
All right, hold up.
Yeah.
I have to touch this?
You're gonna have to touch it. Yeah, okay, ready?
Okay, go for it. Wait, why do you look nervous?
Because I hate this thing.
Okay.
I've experienced it.
All right.
Yeah, finger straight out toward that big metal sphere.
Ah!
Try your arm,
Try my arm?
Yeah. Woo,
Whoa.
that was a big one.
Whoa! You see my hair standing up? I think I can smell my hair burning, actually. Whoa!
How does that feel?
Ah, that's about as much as I can take. Now, you've got my attention. How does this relate to electric eels?
So what we're doing with this thing, this is called a Van de Graaff generator, and it's the perfect thing for understanding charge, because what happens here is a bunch of charges build up on this sphere, and then as soon as you bring your hand near it, they discharge, they actually travel through the air to your finger.
So that's like the little lightning bolt that I'm seeing. Got it. So, okay, I think I understand now. So basically, this Van de Graaff globe represents an electrocyte in the eels.
Yeah, exactly. In the eel, they build up charge and then it discharges all at once, just like the spark from the Van de Graaff generator.
Got it. So it's like a chain reaction. So very much like a battery. And here's a cool fact. The first battery was actually invented by a gentleman named Volta, and he actually designed his first battery off of the inner workings of the electric eel. So without this animal, there would be no Duracell, and there certainly would not be a Tesla, which is pretty cool. Okay, so the eel, we couldn't measure the first shock, but we know they can be up to like 860 volts. How many volts was this?
This is about 350,000.
A what?
350,000 volts.
How am I standing here? Are you trying to kill me?
That's the difference between voltage and current.
Got it.
You need to know about both. So we've got one more experiment to learn about current.
Okay, so there's more shocks to come.
There's a lot more. Next experiment I've got, so this is a TENS unit. A lot of people are probably more familiar with this. So this is gonna give you some little pulses of electricity through your arm.
All right.
It is going through your skin and some of the tissues just below your skin. And now I'm gonna turn it on, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just bump it up little by little.
Okay.
You feel anything?
Nothing. Oh yeah, something's happening.
Yeah, you felt that?
Yeah, a little something.
What does it feel like?
It feels tingly. Yeah, I think I could take some.
How about-
Oh! I didn't do that.
Can we go up a little higher? We're at number 2, by the way.
How high does it go?
Out of 8. How are you feeling?
I think I can go to a 4. Let's try a 4.
Okay, we're gonna go up to a 3.
I'm not doing that, I swear.
I feel a little bad, but not that bad. We probably only got up to about 25 volts there. So
Really?
It's really, really low in comparison.
Oh, I would have guessed it was like 1,000,000 volts.
Nope,
Okay.
nope. But the thing is that there's more energy flowing, more charges flowing through here. Should we go higher than a 4? How do you feel about that?
Let it rip.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go, up to as high as I can.
Ah! Okay. Tap out. Okay.
That was a 6.
good.
That was a 6. That was a 6. But yeah, the biggest difference is that there's more current flowing.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna get you because you've got more energy. Plus, it's not as fast. Like the eel, the Van de Graaff generator, like bam, you're done. This is continual.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Current's what's gonna do you in.
I still need this hand for another eel shock. So we needed to find a way for everyone at home to see the shock from the eel, because like obviously right here, you could see that I was feeling the current. You could see the lightning bolt from the Van de Graaff, but you can't really see anything happening with the eel shock. How can we maybe visualize it?
Yeah, so we've got one more thing set up to be able to see there's actually electricity running through the water.
As it turns out, the electric eel isn't actually an eel at all. It is a species of knifefish that are more closely related to carp and catfish. But they are definitely electric. Their tail contains 3 electric organs that are each packed with thousands of cells called electrocytes. These cells act like a series of batteries, one stacked on top of another, and by moving electrons across their surface, they can produce shocks on demand. And I mean big shocks, and lots of them. So for this next experiment, we're going to harness all of that energy and turn it into visual fireworks that you can see.
Whoa,
Right,
what is this?
Come on in here. Okay, so this is a Tesla coil.
Okay.
Yeah, so you remember the spark from the Van de Graaff generator?
I sure do.
Much bigger on this one, and we are not gonna touch this one because the sparks are gonna be like 6 inches. This one's dangerous.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't bring this one. This was made, actually rigged up by my friends from Arc Attack.
Okay.
And this whole system was made by them. There's some probes in the water, in the tank. We will sense the electric shock from the eel through the water, and then it's directly connected to the Tesla coil. So we'll be able to see through the spark every single time the eel is shocking the water, or
Perfect.
you.
Or me.
Or we'll see it, we'll hear it. It's gonna be really cool.
Well, this is perfect. Thank you for building this. Thank you to Architect for putting this together. I think all that's left to do now is to reveal the eel and fire this up. It's time for the grand finale, folks. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. I'm so nervous. All right, ready, Diana?
I'm ready.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's the whole tank.
Oh my gosh.
That eel is over 1 meter in length, over 1.5 feet longer than the eel this morning. And like I told you, size does matter when it comes to electric eels and their shock. Basically, the bigger the battery, the bigger the charge. Should we turn on the Tesla coil?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh! What?
That is all the eel.
That makes it so much worse.
Every single shock, that's all the eel. Oh, Mark.
I was so nervous earlier. This is making it way, way worse. Okay,
That is so cool, but I do not envy you.
here we go.
You may be wondering why this electric eel is producing electricity unprovoked. Well, there's a reason they have 3 electric organs. The sax organ pulses with a lower voltage shock, which is used like radar for electrocommunication and navigation throughout its environment. This is important since they live in the murky waters of South America and have extremely poor eyesight. Then there's the main and hunter's organs. These are the ones that produce those infamous high voltage shocks, which are used to stun their prey so they can be swallowed alive.
All right, here we go. Okay. All right. On 3, here we go. I'm Mark Vins, and this is getting shocked by a really big electric eel. 1, 2, 3. Nope. Got nervous, sorry.
This really sets the scene for you, Mark.
Sure does. Thanks, Diana. I love science. All right. That's the eel doing all this.
That's all the eel.
Okay, let me see if I can feel it. Oh,
You felt that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I can tell you this, the eel this morning was not doing this.
Yeah.
This eel is feisty. This shock is gonna be bad. All right, here we go. This shock is gonna be All right, here comes the big shock. I'm Mark Vins, and this is getting shocked by a really big electric eel. Here goes nothing. 1, 2, ooh, I can feel it in the water. 3. Oh! Yeah! Oh my gosh.
You okay, Mark?
Yeah. Hold on, give me a second. That really felt bad.
Let's turn these lights on real quick.
Oh. Yeah. That was so much worse. That was a lot worse than this morning. Holy smokes. Did you see the shock? I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh man, like, sorry, I'm trying to compose myself. Let me try to describe to you guys what I just went through. Obviously, I got shocked really bad, like holy cow. You could hear the Tesla coil. I think it might have exploded, I don't know. Before I could feel it, my legs were locked, my abdomen locked up.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, I'm trying to tell everybody what it was like.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Did we break the Tesla coil?
I'm not sure.
I think it exploded.
That sound is like a horror movie. Like it was like a bzzz.
I could still feel it.
Yeah.
Like up and down.
Does it burn? Like what is it?
It's just like, I think it's just my nerves are just like freaking out.
Fully fired on that side of your body?
Yeah, it's definitely up here.
Only on the one side?
Yeah, like this arm's fine, this arm,
Crazy.
and then up through here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude, your ear's red.
Is it?
It's bright red.
Holy, look at that.
Yeah.
Bright red.
Is it? It
Yeah.
feels hot. That was the craziest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Lived to tell about it. Shocked by an electric eel. Diana, thank you so much.
Oh my God.
If you haven't checked out Physics Girl on YouTube, Diana does some pretty darn cool experiments. I highly recommend you subscribe to her channel. Big thanks to Architect. I hope I didn't break your Tesla coil. And thank you for watching this video. This is absolutely the craziest thing I've ever done, but hopefully you learned a lot today about electric eels and how crazy of an animal they truly are. I'm Mark Vins. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next experiment.
Oh God.
Let's go. Right now, we are searching these tide pools off the coast of Eastern Australia for the most toxic fish on the planet. The stonefish is notorious for having the most painful sting in all of nature. And today, I'm going to get stung by a stonefish. But first, we've got to find one. Let's get looking. It's going to be very hard to find the stonefish because in addition to their legendary sting, they are masters of hiding. The key to this is going to be to move slow, methodically, and to not step on the stonefish. You could be looking right at a stonefish and not even realize it. That's why so many people step on them by accident. But stonefish aren't all we have to look out for. This isn't the only animal that could do you harm here in the tide pools off of Australia. We also have cone snails and the blue ring octopus, one of the most lethal creatures in the world. And not only is it risky just being out here, but we also have to beat the clock. The tide is coming in fast, and this whole area is about to be completely underwater. So if we want to catch a stonefish, we need to do that before it happens. Everything looks exactly the same. This is gonna be tough. Oh, right there. You see it moving? That is the stonefish. And I never would have seen that fish if it didn't give itself away by moving. Holy smokes. Now these fish are so toxic, they don't really have a flight response. I'm gonna attempt to catch the most toxic fish in the world with my bare hands. All right, here we go. Wow, there it is. That is the stonefish. Look at that tide pool monster. I can't believe we found one. I mean, it looks like a living rock. I never would have spotted this fish if it didn't move. The fact that it swam a little bit there is the only reason I was able to catch this fish. And you can see how docile this fish is. It knows just how toxic it can be. Wow. But the table is set for what will be likely the worst sting I ever take. Placing the stonefish in the tank hit my nerves hard. I'm about to get stung by a stonefish. Stonefish stings are said to be one of the most painful experiences a human can endure. And I've already experienced my fair share of fish stings. One from the most common fish sting, which is the lionfish. And the other from the scorpionfish, which is the most toxic fish sting in North America. Oh, yeah, he got me. Oh. Each sting was painful, but I was certainly able to tough it out with basic treatment. However, each of those fish fall far short of the danger from the stonefish. Not every day you get to carry around the world's most toxic fish in a tank. This fish might just have the worst sting in the entire animal kingdom. Man, my nerves are firing right now. Just looking at this fish, is so incredibly cool. Look at all the growths all over its body. Definitely earns its name, the Stonefish, a master of camouflage. All right, let's go hands-on once again with the Stonefish. The reason I can handle this fish is because it can only sting from the spines on top. Wow. This fish has developed the most potent fish toxin in the world. The toxin is only to defend itself. Unfortunately, as you can see, it is so docile that it's very easy for people to step on these fish, and that is the most common way people are stung by the Stonefish. The toxin of this fish not only induces extraordinary pain, it can actually cause muscle spasms and eventual paralysis, and there have even been reported deaths from Stonefish stings. But now I think it's time to see how this fish injects its venom. I'm going to just pour out this water. I'm gonna use this little tank here as a platform. This fish is perfectly fine being out of the water for extended periods of time because they've adapted the ability to actually hold water in their gills. It's not uncommon to see stonefish just laying on the rocks in these tide pools. So in the little bit of time that we have it here in front of the cameras, totally fine. All right, so I brought with me a piece of neoprene. I'm going to use this piece of neoprene to simulate skin so I can show you what would happen if you stepped on the stonefish. This animal has the ability to fire its venom into the wound created by its spine. That's why people who are envenomated and step on these stonefish end up in such a bad situation. It's not only that it's the most toxic venom, it's that you also get the most volume. Look at how sharp that spine is. Okay, in order to do this properly, I do need to get out some eye protection, so I'm gonna do that quickly. This venom, it has enough toxin in it to cause vision problems and perhaps even blindness. All right, let's see in slow motion how these spines inject venom. I'm gonna do these top two, you guys ready? Here they go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. Look at that. And it's like blue. Holy cow, look at how much venom just came out of that fish. And let's do another one, do it one more time. Oh my gosh, guys, the spines are blue. And once those spines are out, they stay out and they're ready to defend. All right, let me try these spines on the back here. 1, 2, 3. Wow, that is what would be inside of your foot if you were to step on a stonefish. Now, it will regenerate its venom. This doesn't hurt the fish at all. And you can see these sheaths will just slide right back up. But holy cow, I gotta take a minute and process what I just saw. Oh, that is bad. I won't lie, I'm getting pretty nervous right now. This is something you should never do. I've consulted experts, people who have been stung. I've done my research, I've done my homework, but even still, I am extremely nervous about what is about to happen. It's said that this is the most painful sting in the world. Wish me luck. The moment has come. It's time to be stung by the world's most toxic fish. I am borderline terrified. I've thought long and hard about whether or not to even go through with this, but I'm doing this today because through my research on the stonefish, I have found a lot of misinformation out there. There is a lot of stories that pretty much describe certain death if you're stung by a stonefish, and that's just simply not the case. While this toxin in the base of its spines is extremely potent, it is thermolyable. So if treated properly and if needed with medical attention, you will survive the sting of a stonefish. Most of the victims that end up dying from stonefish stings, but has more to do with the pain and shock that leads to cardiac arrest. This venom is meant to cause you pain, but I have brought the antidote with me today. A thermos filled with hot water that's around 114 degrees Fahrenheit, a compress to hold over the wound, and then of course, if I do go into any state of anaphylactic shock, I always carry with me an EpiPen. We are about 3 minutes drive from an emergency room, so even if the worst case scenario does unfold today, I should have plenty of time to be able to get to emergency medical attention. All right, my plan today is to take a microdose of stonefish venom. The venom from that neoprene trial is already coating the spikes, so they are locked and loaded, ready to go. When it's all said and done, this should be just extraordinarily painful for me and hopefully very educational for you. This is going to likely be the worst sting that I ever take. I'm Mark Vins, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the stonefish, the most toxic fish in the world. All right, I'm gonna go with this front spine here. Ready? This spine. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Yep. I already feel a burn. I could feel it spreading up my finger right now. And it does not feel good. Wow, the tide is coming in. All right, here, let's, hang on. Let's move out of here, the tide's rolling in.
You okay, Mark?
Yeah, hang on, I'm gonna come over here. Andrew, put the fish back in the tank, man. Oh, right there is where the spine went in. God, immediate fire, spreading up my fingers. I can already feel it in these 3.
Do you help, Mark? Are you okay?
No, I'm okay right now. It's like a different magnitude of pain. It is like throbby, achy. Hang on, I gotta walk it off. Yeah. I'm gonna try to tough it out for a little bit. I wanna see how far the venom spreads before I start applying the first aid. This is borderline unbearable. Oh my gosh.
Let me know when you need the water, Mark.
I'm just like, it's making me nervous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it definitely drew a little bit of blood. Oh, and it is hot. It's like closing my hand is becoming hard. Yeah, it's spreading. It's like all up the back of my hand now. I think I need to go for the hot water, guys. I don't want this to spread anymore. I'm going to the hot water. There we go. Stonefish is good. Now, I need to fix myself. So this hot water will actually stop the venom from working and should help my pain. Every bit as painful as advertised. I never want to do that again. And I need to get more hot water on this sting. And hopefully the pain subsides, but it's still increasing for me. Tingling pain continued to build and spread up through my shoulder all the way to my neck. Even a month after the sting, I still have numbness and tingles in my fingers. The immediate pain wasn't enough to send me to the hospital, but as we released the stonefish, I could imagine what would happen if a full load of its venom were to go in my foot. That instance would send you directly to the hospital. And if you're ever stung, please, you should seek medical attention as soon as possible. Needless to say, the stonefish certainly lives up to the legend of being the most painful fish on the planet.
Lurking in the murky waters of the Amazon basin lives the world's most mysterious predator. Stalking, waiting, seemingly invisible, and without warning, can ambush its unsuspecting prey with a vicious jolt of electricity. The electric eel is one of the most infamous creatures on the planet. And earlier this year, I put myself in the middle of the craziest experiment I've ever attempted. The following is the true story of what really happened. But before we get to that, let's relive both shocks one more time. Right now, I'm about to stick my hand in this tank to experience the shock of an electric eel. And if you can't tell, I am definitely nervous. This is easily the craziest thing I've ever done on the Brave Wilderness channel. Whew. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how nervous I am right now. Ah, all right, here we go. Gonna go for a shock. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Whoa! Wow! Holy smokes! You definitely do not expect that from a fish. You never in your life expect a fish to be able to shock you like that. All right, here
Here comes the big shock. I'm Mark Vins, and this is getting shocked by a really big electric eel. Here goes nothing. 1, 2. Oh, I can feel it in the water. 3. Oh! Yeah! Oh my gosh!
You okay, Mark?
Hold on, give me a second.
That really felt bad.
Oh.
Hi everybody, I'm Mark Vins, and on today's very special video, I'm going to be talking about the craziest thing that I've ever done for the Brave Wilderness channel. A few months ago, I got shocked, not once, but twice, by the world's most powerful electric creature, which of course is none other than the electric eel. Yes, it was absolutely crazy, but the one thing that I noticed after we released the video was the outpouring of questions from the audience. So to start off today's video, I'm going to answer some of those questions, and then we're going to take a deeper dive into some of the science behind this mysterious creature. So to kick things off, why did I do it in the first place? Totally valid, totally reasonable question to ask. Well, truth be told, I've been wanting to make this video for many, many years, yet as we started Brave Wilderness, we just couldn't connect that dot to actually making it happen. However, the situation recently did present itself where I could take a shock from this animal, but also in a way that was visually significant. Because one of the things that was obvious from the first shock was you really can't see getting shocked. You're just seeing my and did I take a shock? Did I not? Am I acting? Is it real? Is it fake? All those things come into play. So we knew there had to be a way for you to see it. In comes Diana, the physics girl, and her friend's architect. What?
That is all the eel.
The fact that an animal can actually produce an electric charge up to 860 volts just completely blew my mind. So I had to know firsthand if it was actually true and if I could show it to you, the audience. That's why I got shocked by an electric eel. Second question I saw a lot, was I nervous? Well, I said so many times in the video, so I thought that was pretty obvious.
I am definitely nervous. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how nervous I am right now. I'm usually so excited to see you. Why am I nervous right now? I'm so nervous. I was so nervous earlier. This is making it way, way worse.
Yes, I was absolutely nervous. I was actually like losing sleep leading up to the filming of this video because I didn't know what was gonna happen. There's not a lot of videos out there about getting shocked by an electric eel. When I was first putting my hand in the water, there was a lot of anticipation of like, am I gonna take a shock as soon as I breach the surface? But I can't tell you, I was not able to take a shock just by merely having my hand in the water. I actually had to make contact, but I will tell you this, as soon as I touched the eel, wha-bam, like right away. Like it was not like a delayed reaction, it was like instant electrical jolt, which leads me to my next question. Did it hurt? Yeah, it hurt a lot. The first one stunned me. The second shock, the shock heard around the world, was unbelievably powerful. I would estimate that this was the full charge, like the full capacity for an electric eel to shock something that blew the fuse in the Tesla coil. That's actually what happened. The fuse blew. You could see a big green flash and hear a crazy noise. That was the fuse in the Tesla coil actually exploding. After that sound, I got super nervous because I got dizzy, like I locked up. I remember thinking to myself, oh crap, don't fall into the tank, don't fall off of the platform, get yourself to a place where you can splay out. So I backed up quickly and I just remembered falling on my butt. For the rest of the evening, I actually had some lingering after effects. I had tingles up and down my arm. My neck was super hot. My ear turned really red. It just like this whole side of my face felt hot for the rest of the night. Now, that's one thing Diana told me, and our friends at Architect backed up. Whenever you're shocked or electrocuted, the energy flowing through you has to ground somewhere else. That can be into the air, that can be into the water, but the energy goes through you and flows somewhere. In this case, it flowed right out my ear because you could see how red my ear turned, and the other ear was not red at all. The next question, can the eels shock over and over? Yes, they absolutely can. In fact, if you go back and you watch the second shock, let's see that one more time. Oh! Yeah! Ooh, never get over that. You'll notice that the charge doesn't dissipate. It actually goes up. And that's how they're incapacitating their prey. It's not necessarily just one shock, it's lots of shocks. That is how an electric eel operates, and I unfortunately had to experience that firsthand. How dangerous was getting shocked by an electric eel? Well, I could say this. It's not completely safe, and I definitely don't recommend anybody take a shock if the opportunity presents itself. Now, that being said, I felt I was able to go through with this because I had consulted with enough safety professionals and people with enough firsthand accounts to feel that I had a pretty good chance of surviving this experience. But that being said, there was certainly no guarantee that I was going to be safe. And with that, let's talk about some science. Because the other reason I wanted to make this video was to talk more about the facts of this animal. The eel shock video was crazy, but we didn't really get to dive super deep into the details about this mysterious creature. So with that, here are my favorite facts about the electric eel. Fact number 1, their name. The electric eel has somewhat been mislabeled by its early discoverers. While they certainly look like an eel and are commonly called just that, an electric eel isn't really an eel at all. It is a member of the knifefish family and are more closely related to carp or catfish. It gets its name from its eel-shaped body, which can grow up to 9 feet long and weigh nearly 50 pounds at full size. Fact number 2, the air breather. These creatures are native to South American rivers, but they do not spend all their time under the surface. Since they can only extract about 20% of the oxygen they need from the muddy water in which they live, they will surface every 10 to 15 minutes to breathe air. That's right, these fish have lungs. Fact number 3, yes, they can shock. Using its highly specialized nervous system, the electric eel can activate disc-shaped electricity-producing cells packed into 3 specialized organs. The main organ, Hunter's organ, and Sachs organ all contain electrogenic cells, and through a command nucleus can decide when the electric shock will fire. An array of nerves ensures that all these thousands of electric shocking cells can activate at once. Pow! Yeah! Fact number 4, it's all lopsided. While 80% of the eel is its tail and dedicated to making the electric shock, everything else has to be held in the front 20%, including its head and vital organs. In fact, if you look just below the chin, you can see its vent. And for a fish, the vent is its butt. Yeah. Fact number 5, electric eels are mostly blind. Those 2 little beads on the eel's head are its eyes. However, they don't function very well since the electric eel is mostly blind. Instead of relying on sight, they will use a radar-like system of electrical pulses to navigate their way through murky water and hunt for their food. Fact number 6, hunting with the lightning. Along with fending off predators, the electric eel will also use their electricity to hunt prey. The ability to stun prey like small crustaceans or fish makes for an easy meal, which is important because, believe it or not, these eels have no teeth and must swallow their food whole. Fact number 7, how much electricity can they generate? Given the fact that 80% of the eel's body is dedicated to producing electricity, it may come as no surprise that the electric eel can pack the biggest wallop of all electric species in the world, generating up to 860 volts. However, that's not the end of the story. Voltage, as we learned, is not the end-all be-all of the shock, where in this case I'm just stunned because the amperage is actually very low. So when it comes to electric shocks, it's all about the amperage. So there you have it, my favorite facts about the electric eel. I hope you learned something new through that, and I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the craziest thing that I've ever done for Brave Wilderness, getting shocked not once, but twice by an electric eel.
The adventure to get out to the location we're on today. I had to paddle out about 1.5 miles from the marina here on the South Shore, just south of Boston. And now we're on foot because the water is way too shallow to paddle. We're going to park the kayak just up here and try to anchor it so it doesn't float away. And hopefully the tide doesn't come back in before we get back to the kayak. That would be a bad day. I'd be swimming 1 mile back to home. Kayak all the way up, grab our backpack, and we are going to head off on the greatest clamming adventure you've ever witnessed. Well, at least I hope. All right, here we go. The mouth of the estuary or salt marsh. You'll find a lot of these places have different names. And this is an intertidal zone, so that means the tide's gonna go up and down It's full of all kinds of different substrates, like pretty much pure sand, just like that. And if you just walk a little further up here, it gets very organic and rooted, almost like a mossy mud. That's what's really cool about this environment. There's a lot of different looks, and this different substrate from spot to spot is also going to provide environments for a lot of different kinds of animals. But today in particular, we are looking for this soft-shelled clam. This is gonna be a little tricky to get down. Oh boy. Whew, here we go, into the adventure. Whoa, whoa, oh yeah, oh yeah. Whew. Oh, here's a crab. What do we have here? Look at this guy. All right, there we go. First creature of the trip. And this one is familiar if you've already seen our tide pool adventure in New England, which we recently released. And let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes on each side of the eye. Pop quiz, what kind of crab is this? If you guessed green crab, you are absolutely correct. That's a good sign, healthy environment, lots of life. Now this is an invasive predatory crab, not necessarily the best thing for these environments, but they are established at this point. And anytime you're looking for animals and you see other creatures, that's a very good sign. So I'm gonna let this crab go, and we're gonna talk about this. This is no longer a living bivalve, but it was recently. This is the Atlantic version of a razor clam, so they're also called jackknife clams. These are some of the fastest bivalves that live in this environment. As we get more into this estuary, you'll see there's going to be more and more shell debris around, because there are a lot of things out here in this environment that eat these bivalves. This place in particular has a high concentration of soft shell clams, today's target species. And I can see what we're looking for just ahead of us. Woo. All right, everybody, we finally made it. We had a long paddle out, had a long hike into this estuary, but the creature we're after is right below the surface in front of us. Now, the reason I know this is because of those. You see all those little holes? It's called a clam show, and it's basically a telltale sign that if there's a hole in the surface of the sand, it's showing that there's a clam that lives just below the surface. So first things first, let me get set up, get all the cameras situated, and then I'll put on some gloves, we'll start digging, and I'm gonna show you some pretty cool things about some clams you've probably never seen before. Here we go, the clams we've been searching for today that we've traveled miles to find are just a few inches below the surface. Now, there's no way to find these clams without getting a little bit dirty, so we're just gonna embrace it. I'm using gloves because I'm worried about getting sliced by all the shells and fragments that are in the soil. You can see some of the clam shows here. There's probably dozens of clams down in this soil. All right, here we go. Gonna dig in. Now you wanna dig carefully. They're called soft shell clams for a reason. These clams have a very brittle shell, and if you're not careful, you can crack them quite easily. And what I'm feeling for are the ridges of the side of the clam, because these clams are vertical in the soil, meaning they lay on their side, not flat like the hard shell clams. I got one, okay. First clam of the day, this is exciting. All right, I'm just gonna move this back. Here we go, I'm gonna wiggle it out. Oh, there it is. Our first soft shell clam. Look at that one. Oh, it's squirting everywhere. They actually are called squirting clams or spraying clams because they do squirt water out just like that. But that's a really good one to look at. We're gonna put that off to the side. Oh, okay, got another one. Let me show you what I found. I'm gonna get the other camera. So if you can see down in there, that is the top ridge of a clam. And what I wanna do is just take it out, just like that. Check that out. That is a nice soft shell clam. Let's see if we can find one more. You can see here, that's why I'm wearing gloves. You have all these fragments of shells down in the soil. See if we can find one more. Oh yeah, here we go. There we go. Oh yeah, that's a good one. I think that's gonna do it for the finding of clams. We're gonna leave this open right now because we're gonna put all the clams back in, but I'm going to get out a container, fill it with some clear water, clean off these clams so we can take a super close look at why this is such a bizarre creature. Okay. right, there we go. Let's first talk about the shell of these clams. Now these shells are very brittle, and like I said when we were digging them up, we had to be super careful as to not crack the shell. If the shell is cracked, the clam can actually get sick and die, so we would not want that to happen. But these shells are actually made out of calcium carbonate produced by the organism itself from the things that it eats. It will build layer after layer of shell. It will grow up to a size of 4 inches in length. They are called bivalves because they have 2 shells, and that's why it gets the name bi, meaning 2. And this clam in particular is interesting because it cannot close all the way. A lot of other mollusks and bivalves can actually close up in their shells all the way. They're always looking kind of half open. Don't worry, they're not sick. That's exactly how they're supposed to be. You see that little nubbin? That is a siphon, and the siphon has 2 tubes, and believe it or not, this siphon can stick up to the surface 8 to 12 inches. But right now the clam is taking cover. It's very bright out, so it's gonna be as tucked in as it can. When the tide comes back in and this clam is back in the soil, it will put that siphon all the way up to the surface, and that's what's making all these clam shows. That's what gave away the clam's location to us for this adventure. Now what's cool about this siphon is it has 2 tubes, one for taking in water and one for expelling water. These clams are filter feeders, so when they're drawing in water through one side of the siphon, they're actually taking that water across their gills to absorb the oxygen, and then all the food that they're eating, which is that microscopic algae in the water, goes to their mouth and then it goes all the way through the digestive system. And these clams, believe it or not, can filter up to 50 liters of water a day. And for a little creature like that, that's pretty impressive. So pretty much all day long, when there's water covering where they live, they're like a vacuum cleaner, just drinking up and filtering that water. Pretty cool. Now, the other thing that I find particularly interesting about these clams is their life cycle. They don't start life right here in the soil. They actually start as planktonic larvae. So the male and female clams will spray their gametes and their eggs into the water column through their siphons, and they will float out to sea. Now, when those eggs hatch, for the first few weeks of life, these clams are actually free swimming organisms, or larvae. And when they grow big enough and become heavy enough, they will actually sink to the bottom. They will affix themselves to grow even larger by using byssal, which is that spider web-like strandy stuff. Now here's the really interesting part, and the one that really impresses me. These clams know when they grow large enough, release that byssal, and they will actually ride the tide back into the estuaries. And once they find the perfect spot with the right kind of soil, they will use their foot and they will dig down. And once they're there, they will spend their entire rest of their existence right in that place, which could be up to 12 years. And I think that life cycle has to be one of the most impressive things that I learned when researching this bivalve. And I'm happy that I finally got to share it with you here today and to show you these really cool and bizarre soft-shell clams. All right, guys, I just got done night diving in Indonesia, and I cannot believe what we just filmed tonight with the bobbit worm is mind-blowing. Total nightmare fuel, but super awesome at the same time. Check this out. You won't be sorry. We're starting our dive at dusk and we'll be focused on the seabed in front of us. This is typically when the most interesting creatures are active. And right away, there's a lionfish. These fish are down here hunting right now, and those spines on its back are covered in a potent neurotoxin that can cause excruciating pain and even paralysis in anything it touches. These waters are absolutely filled with them, as well as their cousin, the scorpionfish. So anytime I make contact with the ocean floor, I'll be checking to make sure that I don't land on anything I'm not supposed to. Now, I've seen a lot of bizarre and nightmarish looking creatures before. I've been bitten by bloodworms, burned by a fireworm, and even stung by the infamous man-o-war. But nothing makes my skin crawl quite like the bobbit worm. These elusive predators have built up a serious reputation over the years and even inspired monsters in movies like the ones in Dune and Tremors, both featuring killer sandworms that live underground that burst through the desert sand with their powerful jaws to attack and kill their prey. Those worms are science fiction. The bobbit worm you are about to see feed in the night is very real. Now, at this point in the dive, I had no idea I was going to find any bobbit worms. But these are the events as they unfolded, leading to that very moment. What we have here is a school of catfish. They use a very interesting schooling technique where they actually cascade over each other like a waterfall. They do this to take turns so they can stop and feed, but there's always another catfish to replace the front line. Grouping together like this helps ward off predators and makes the school of catfish appear like a much larger fish. All right, time to move on. Oh wow, look at that. I have never seen one of these nudibranch before. This one is actually called a bubble shell. It gets its name because of that shell right there at the center of its body. Now these shells are different to the ones on a typical snail. They are thin, fragile, and too small to fit the entire animal inside. But it is absolutely stunning in coloration. Look at those bright blue edges. It almost glows out here in the darkness. Very cool. On night dives like this, you really never know what you're going to find. It's a very alien-like environment, and when you're out here in the muck, it almost appears like the lunar surface. And here is another really bizarre and unique creature. This is a cuttlefish. Related to the octopus, these sea creatures are super intelligent. In fact, some scientists believe they're more intelligent than their 8-armed cousins. Let's carefully swim up for a closer look. What's really unique about these creatures at first sight is how they change their coloration almost instantaneously. Oh, look at this, it's moving into hunt. Oh, it almost got that fish. That fish was so lucky. Oh. The cuttlefish is turning right toward me. Look at that coloration change. Now, some scientists believe not only did they change their coloration as a camouflage technique, but they can actually communicate through the change in color and pattern in their skin. I wonder if it's trying to tell me something. Clearly it knows that I'm no longer a threat. It's hanging out. Let me just put my hand out right. Guys, this is too cool. This cuttlefish is so comfortable with us that it's letting me almost use my hand as a perch. Now make no mistake, these cuttlefish are super fast and it could swim away in a split second if it wanted to. And it's likely just as curious about me as I am about it. Holy cow. I'm almost at a loss for words. All right, let's grab our dive rig and keep adventuring into the night. Wow. That's a pair of moray eels. This is one of the animals that divers need to be especially careful around because they are super territorial and they also have razor sharp teeth. If you stick your hand in the wrong place down here, you can take a pretty aggressive chomp from one of these large eels. And the biggest problem is once they bite, they don't let go. They can even spin into a death roll similar to a crocodile. We're gonna leave those two alone and keep moving forward.
Now that is a porcupine fish, and a super colorful one at that. A lot of the porcupine fish that I'm used to seeing are more brown and gray in coloration. This one is more of a reddish maroon. And oh, I found something so cool. Guys, check this out. This is a bobtail squid. I've always wanted to see one of these. Now these bobtail squid really look like a little octopus because of their super long tentacles. They're almost the in-between between a cuttlefish and an octopus. But these bobtail squid are also super intelligent and extremely charismatic. It's trying to bury itself beneath the sand to hide away from our cameras. I see you. Look at it using its little arms to cover itself with sand and sediment to try to blend in. You can still see its little siphon is uncovered there. Wow. Whoa, look out for those. Those are scorpion fish, and they are venomous. Related to the stonefish, these scorpion fish have venomous spines on the dorsal and pectoral fins. And if you accidentally brush into them, they can give you a really nasty sting. I know all too well just how it feels because I once took a sting from the scorpion fish
And I've tested
myself.
the sting of a man-o-war. Ah, man, that one nailed me. What is that? That's a bobbit worm. Oh my gosh. We gotta get in for a closer look. Those mandibles, look at those jaws, they are huge. If that's not a sci-fi monster, I don't know what is. And look at its skin. It's iridescent. It almost has a rainbow shimmer to it. And you could see its serrated jaws open and ready to clasp onto any would-be victim that crosses its path. And do you see those little antennae? Right by the jaws, those are sensory organs, sensing the chemicals and vibrations in the water so it can detect prey and launch out for an attack. And with a body length of up to 10 feet, there's a lot more to this worm than meets the eye. And using all that friction that it has from that long burrow, it possesses incredible strength and can take down large fish as prey in a split second. Let's see if we can get the bobbit worm to snap its jaws for the cameras. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Wow. Now not only are those jaws serrated, but the bristles along its body are actually venomous. And the bobbit worm uses them as a defense mechanism. So it's not just the jaws you have to worry about. Oh no! The little porcupine fish followed us over. It must be attracted to the dive lights. that porcupine fish is very lucky to have escaped the bobbit worm. But that was pretty interesting to see it use its defense mechanism to puff up like that and to be successful with it. Whew, that got my heart racing. Let's wait here for a second to see if this bobbit worm can find any other prey. Look who showed up. The scorpion fish is coming to take a look. I wonder if the scorpion fish thinks this bobbit worm could be food. It certainly is creeping in really slow. Let's hang here for a second to see what happens. I cannot believe what we just saw. I think we're going to need to see that one more time, but this time we're going to slow it down. You can really see how the bobbit worm inspired the movies Dune and Tremors. Look at the sand bubbling. I can only imagine what's happening down there below the surface. That might be the most disturbing thing I have ever seen on any dive I've ever been on. Wow. Scientists are still uncovering the mysteries of this notorious creature, not only seeking to understand its behavior, but also its role in the environment. But one thing is for certain, these creatures are absolutely terrifying. All right, I think that'll do it for this night dive. Tell me in the comments section what you thought about the bobbit worm.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Blue Wilderness adventure here on the edge of the Caribbean Sea at night. Now, we're at Grand Cayman Island, and we did come here to swim with stingrays at Stingray City, and that was awesome. We saw all kinds of cool reef fish, and of course got up close and personal with those giant rays. But if we truly want to see something unique, something really bizarre, the best time to do that is at night. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our dive gear ready, head out into the darkness of the sea, and get up close with some of the most alien-looking creatures you can imagine. Before we could make our descent, we had to swim away from shore out to deeper water. The visibility along the way was poor and churned up by the waves, making this process much more nerve-wracking than usual. Plunging into dark water is without question disorienting. And it isn't until you regain your visibility and bearings that your instincts to turn back retreat and allow you to press forward further into darkness. My eyes struggled to scan the empty space around me for a glimpse of anything. But just like that, we have our first visitor. Drawn in by my camera lights, I find these Caribbean reef squids stunning and very interesting to observe. Oddly enough, it actually might be as equally interested in me. They can be quite the characters and are extremely intelligent. It's mesmerizing how its bright coloration and translucent skin glimmer as it flutters its fins against the dark, inky water. Isn't it incredible how it can remain in perfect position with so little effort? Closely related to octopus and cuttlefish, these torpedo-shaped cephalopods have 10 appendages set in front of 2 very large, complex eyes. And while Caribbean reef squid are normally social creatures, seeing one all alone isn't that uncommon. Wow, they really are something. What an interesting creature to kick off tonight's dive. It's a surreal sensation to descend into the black abyss of the ocean at night. Some would argue this scenario would easily rank as their greatest fear, and I wouldn't necessarily blame them. Your first night dive can be scary. Luckily, our camera lights are strong and almost create a force field, literally pushing back the fear of the unknown and establishing the reality that exists in front of us. I learned long ago that a strong sense of curiosity can be the best defense against any fear. Curiosity, like our dive lights, can illuminate our minds to focus on what we can see instead of imagining what figments may exist beyond the shadows. And in this world, almost anything my light touches brings my curiosity to a boil. The weightlessness of diving, combined with this foreign landscape, feels like nothing less than a space odyssey. So in the spirit of worlds beyond our imagination, tonight we are on the hunt for something truly bizarre, as I hope to encounter the aliens of the reef. Between the maze of shapes and spectrum of vivid colors that make up the coral reef, its inhabitants are equally as colorful and unusual. And as I get closer to the reef, many of the smaller creatures start to reveal themselves, like this arrow crab. As are most of its other crab cousins, this one is an opportunistic feeder, hunting for worms and other easy prey items. But if that doesn't look like an alien, I'm not sure what does. Okay, let's move on and see what we can find on the other side of the reef. Oh wow, so in complete contrast to the arrow crab, here we have a huge reef spider crab, also known as a channel clinging crab. This species of spider crab are commonly found in waters off of Florida, the Bahamas, and various Caribbean islands, but this one is by far the largest I've seen. We're currently at about 60 feet below the surface, but these crabs can actually be found, get this, in excess of 100 feet, a depth we don't often explore for marine life. But maybe we should search for some deep water creatures on a future dive. The walls of the reef are really impressive, covered in brightly colored sponges that tower up at steep angles, giving way to flatter coral beds. Wait, what was that? I heard a crunch, like some sort of popping sound. Whoa, that's what I heard. That grunt just smashed that smaller Oh, and look at that, there's an octopus. Did you see it before it changed color? That's a Caribbean reef octopus, and a big one too. This is definitely the all-star creature of the night. Now they can be extremely difficult to find, but once spotted will flicker with color. And these color displays are remarkable. It's both attempting to blend in with the reef to camouflage itself, and just when I get close enough, does that. That is a defensive display. See it flash white and blue and balloon up to appear larger than it really is? It's incredible how adaptive these creatures are. Not only able to change color, but also able to change their shape and skin texture completely. Seeing these behaviors is very rare. This is actually the first time I've ever witnessed it. Now let's talk about danger. All octopus are venomous, including this one, and use their beaks to inject their prey with a toxic saliva that paralyzes them while they're consumed. However, unlike their smaller cousin, the blue ring octopus, this species does not have a lethal bite when it comes to humans. But besides their venomous ways and bizarre appearance, these animals are indeed strange. Having 3 hearts, 360-degree vision, and possessing inexplicable intelligence has some scientists suggesting that these creatures are indeed aliens from another world. In fact, there are few fossil records to suggest otherwise, but we'll save that debate for another video. Okay, well, our computers are telling us it's time to return back to the surface, but what an epic way to end our adventure. For more photos and videos of this dive, make sure to follow me on Instagram @RealMarkVins, and I do respond to questions, so make sure to comment and ask away. Wow, that was by far the biggest octopus I've personally ever seen out here in the Caribbean, and by far the biggest one we've ever featured on this channel, and it showed us all kinds of crazy displays. I mean, it changed color a dozen times. It went from blues to reds to oranges to stripes, and then it had those brilliant dominance displays where it ballooned up and tried to make itself look bigger on the reef. That was incredible. I cannot believe we just witnessed that. And how about that Caribbean reef squid? That's nothing to shake a stick at either. That was pretty awesome to see the bioluminescence cascading up and down its fins. And I hope everybody at home enjoyed tonight's night adventure just as much as we did. The crew and I are absolutely exhausted. We're gonna get this gear off and head back home for the evening. But if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a second of the adventures ahead. There's a lot more coming up on Blue Wilderness. I'm Mark Vins. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next dive. While a person's first night dive can be a frightening ordeal, I have found that any journey through this mystical landscape will quickly replace feelings of fear with pure excitement.
Oh, wants to bite me. I'm actually going to get chomped. Ready? 1, 2, 3. He's biting me. Oh, he's got me good. He's latched. He's latched. He won't let go. Won't let go. Oh, got one. Oh yeah. Woo, yeah. This, believe it or not, is one of the most famous creatures ever featured on the Brave Wilderness channel. That's right, the original Bloodworm video now has over 73 million views. But in that original adventure, we did leave a few things on the table that are definitely worth revisiting. Namely, the venomous bite of this creature. Actually, did Coyote take a bite?
Ow! Yay!
Did it bite you?
He got me!
I got that!
He got me! I felt it. It was a little pinch.
Let me see. Where'd he get you?
Right there, right in the crux of my finger.
I think we can do better than just a pinch for one of the world's only venomous worms. In fact, we learned something very important about this creature between the last adventure and today that's going to help us achieve a bite on camera. But before I go getting myself chomped for this new bloodworm experiment, we need to find a whole lot more worms than just this one. Let's keep digging.
Bloodworms hunt for prey in the tidal mudflats of both the Atlantic and Pacific coasts of the United States and Canada. They have also earned the nickname sludge worm, since their habitat consists of thick mud and quicksand that can easily swallow your boots whole. To find these slimy predators, worm diggers use special rakes to quickly peel back mud and reveal worms on the move that could be sold as prize fishing bait. And while they can be difficult to find, some of the best worm diggers in Maine can collect up to 1,000 worms a day, with the largest ones growing up to 15 inches long. After hours of digging and covered head to toe in mud and sweat, we fill the bucket and set the stage for one of the worst bites we've ever filmed.
Welcome to the bloodworm bite table. What I have in front of me here are 5 very large bloodworms. No, these are not your granddad's night crawlers, folks. These are natural born killers. Armed with 4 venomous fangs and an appetite to match, we have been told that these worms pack one heck of a bite. Some people say that it's like a bee sting, and locals have even told us that they've seen worm diggers crawling out of the mud flats in near tears from being bitten by these carnivorous worms. But there is one key piece of information that we learned from the original bloodworm video to today, and that is you can actually head a bloodworm. Similar to how a herpetologist would head a venomous snake to keep it from biting them, I will actually attempt to grab the proboscis once it shoots out and then intentionally inflict my first bite. And yes, I said first bite. There's gonna be more than one. Now what I'm going to try to do is head the proboscis, and while I'm attempting to do this, let's review some of the most interesting facts about this bizarre marine oddity.
The bloodworm is a venomous segmented worm that hunts invertebrates and other marine creatures. Armed with 4 razor-sharp fangs and a projectile mouth called a proboscis, they are voracious predators and are as aggressive as they are bizarre. One of the most shocking things about these worms is how normal they can appear and then in a split second transform into one of the most alien-looking life forms you've ever seen. And as if this wasn't creepy enough, things get even worse. Once the bloodworm has its prey ensnared in those hooked jaws, it will inject it with a paralyzing venom that incapacitates the victim so it can be digested and eaten alive. This venom is chemically similar to that of a scorpion and is known to cause severe reactions in humans, including burning, tissue damage, and anaphylactic shock. Please do not attempt what you're about to see.
Oh, almost got it. Ah, I missed it. Oh, come on. All right. I got it. Oh, wants to bite me. That is the proboscis of one of the biggest bloodworms I have ever seen. Holy moly. That's over a foot, for sure. Okay, time to get bitten by one of the only venomous worms on the planet, the bloodworm. Got a good hold on it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Yeah, oh, God, he's on me. Oh, look at that. Ah, he won't let go. Ah, he won't let go. Oh. Ah. Oh, he's in. Go, he's really on there, guys. I can't get him off. He's biting me. Oh, he's got me good. Yeah, he got me. Ah, man, it didn't break the skin. It was definitely latched into me, but its fangs I don't think are long enough to break the skin of my finger. I wonder if I try on a softer part. Let's try my wrist. It's a little bit thinner there, a little bit softer. All right, here we go. Let's go in for the second bite on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. Oh, yep. See him tug on the skin? Ah, he's latched. He's latched. Ah, yeah. Oh, I can't get him off. Yeah, he's got me. You see that? Ah, keep rolling, keep rolling. I'm gonna try to pry him off. He's really latched on. Come on, let go, let go. Ah, he won't let go. Oh, he won't let go. Gotta get him off. Ah. Oh. Oh yeah. That was a full-on bloodworm bite. Boy, that burns. Gosh, you get that shot?
Got
Those
it.
fangs were all the way latched in. Oh. Oh, that burns. Ooh, man, yes. You can see that there wasn't much blood produced from the bite, but I've got blisters forming, and that's likely due to all the inflammation and swelling. I feel it in the nervous system. My wrist is screaming right now. Super painful burning sensation, a lot like a wasp or a bee sting. Those fangs are like little talons, and it just grabbed right through the skin and did not want to let go. They were like barbs on a fishing hook. They were just in there, and really, I wasn't able to get the worm off until it decided to relax a little bit, and I pried it back, but those fangs are definitely sharp enough. Yikes, that hurt. Now that we've witnessed what a single bloodworm is capable of, let's see what happens when I submerge my hands in over 100 of them. Do bloodworms hunt in packs?
We're about to find out. Before I attempt to feed my hands to these four-fanged terrors, let's take a look at what they did to some normal prey from the wild. While related and very similar looking to bloodworms, the sandworm is not nearly as formidable. And after a short time in a small aquarium, we can see they are also very much their food. The venomous bloodworms attacked and broke down the sandworms quickly, and what you're seeing now are signs of both chewing and dismemberment, a clear sign of active predation.
If you thought one bloodworm bite was bad, check this out. Whoa! Look at all these worms. That is a container filled with over 100 bloodworms in this tank. And I'm going to attempt to submerge my hands into this tank of bloodworms for 2 minutes. All in an effort to figure out, do bloodworms hunt in packs? Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that feels so weird. I just took my first bite. Hit me on the pinky. It was a bite and release. Oh, I could feel them. Yeah, I could feel more proboscis going. It's like you could feel them tense up and then poof, it fires out. The anticipation is killing me. If you could see them wriggling, they have their little sensory tips, sensing their environment for anything that they can eat or get those jaws on. Oh, I could see a lot of them are shooting their proboscis out already. They sense something foreign in their environment. I gotta look away. This is like too much anxiety just looking at this container. This has gotta be the creepiest thing I have ever done in my entire life. Just so disgusting, feeling all those worms wriggling around my fingers. One thing that we noticed earlier is that as soon as one of them fires their proboscis, it seems to create a rapid fire effect. They all do it at the same time.
They're going crazy.
They are. Feel them wriggling around my fingers. Oh man, oh yeah. Got another one. Oh my goodness, so creepy. All right, how much time left?
30 seconds left.
All right, this has gotta be the longest 2 minutes of my life. 2 minutes feels like an eternity. Oh, the bloodworm bite tank. Oh, this is horrible. Give me a countdown.
5.
Got me again.
3.
That's 3.
2. 1.
Definitely got nailed on the pinky on this side. And I got 2 nips between my fingers, here and here. Definitely got nipped 3 times. Wow, that was weird. What a crazy day on the Brave Wilderness channel. Well, I don't know if we can definitively say that bloodworms like to hunt in packs, but I'll tell you this. They sure don't mind sharing a meal, but man, that original bite, that was a serious, serious chomp from a bloodworm. It is absolutely swollen and very tender to the touch. I have a feeling I'm gonna be in pain for quite a while on that one.
And I was absolutely correct. The bite of a bloodworm was no joke and ended up becoming one of the most painful experiences I've endured so far. Overnight, the swelling increased dramatically, and the burning around the bite spread through my hand and up my arm, nearly locking my wrist. Then, days after the initial pain subsided, I had a secondary reaction, where the bite zone flared up with an aggressive rash and itched at least twice as much as poison ivy. In all, it took 3 weeks to heal from the bloodworm venom, and I'm here to officially say the scary rumors of bloodworms are 100% true. So while these creatures are an important part of the intertidal ecosystem and a valued resource for fishing towns across Maine, you absolutely want to avoid their bite at all costs. Ouch! Exclamation point.
All right, guys, in this video, I am going to take on the sting of the fireworm so I can officially rate it on the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index. Now, the sting from this venomous worm is horrible. We're talking searing pain, massive swelling, and even long-term skin damage. So for me, this is gonna be a really bad day. But before I can go through this test, I first have to catch one. And the only way to do that is to get out in the water. We're diving today just off a public beach near Miami, Florida. And if you can believe it, the waters just off these beaches are swarming with fireworms. Fireworms can grow up to a foot in length and are covered in thousands of venom-laced bristles, which has earned them the reputation of being one of the worst stings in the entire ocean. And unfortunately for me, I'm going to experience this firsthand. That is, if I'm able to find one. I'm seeing something in the rocks just ahead. Oh, check that out. Our first spot of the day. That is a moray eel. Moray eels are incredibly territorial and can be aggressive toward divers. So if I want to keep all my fingers, I better also keep my distance. Now these reefs are a promising environment, but still no fireworm. There is a ton of life down here, however, so I have a feeling it's just a matter of time. I think we need to dive deeper. All right, yes, this is looking perfect. What we're looking at here in front of us is a muck bottom environment, which the fireworms love. And you see that orange sponge? That's a fantastic sign. I've seen fireworms covering these sponges many dives before. Okay, I'm seeing something wormy just up ahead. Oh yeah, there it is. The first fireworm of the day, and a decent sized one too. Whoa, did you see that? The fireworm is flaring out its spines in self-defense, which is gonna make them even more tricky to catch. Even with these gloves on, this is a very dangerous operation that should never be attempted. Please never do this. Taking a sting from a fireworm underwater could easily put you in a life-threatening situation. We have a bit more time left in our tank. Let's see if we can find a few more. Wow, almost immediately we've got another one. Once you find the fireworms, they are nearly everywhere you look. Let's see just how many we can get. Now for anyone wondering, rest assured we will be returning all of these fireworms right back where I found them at the end of this video. Wow, that one is an absolute monster. I'm not even sure it's going to fit in this container. Let's try. All right, well, I think we found today's co-star. It's time to take our worms to the surface and for me to face the flame of the fireworm. Since it's important that I return the worms back to the water as quickly as possible, there was no time to waste. So I ditched my scuba gear and got right to setting up for the sting test. The sting table is set. I'm gonna get out a few things that we're gonna be using for today's experiment with the fireworm. I've got a Petri dish we're gonna place them in, some clear Gorilla Tape. You might be asking, Mark, what are you gonna do with that? You'll see in just a few minutes. I've got some white vinegar. Gonna need that for the afterburn. And then of course, this is for me. Just a little hydration out here on the beach. I never leave home without my Summit Adventure Fuel. Now I'm gonna keep the rest of the worms covered. We don't need all the worms we found. Of course, we found a lot of worms. There were hundreds of fireworms at this site. The last one that we found, I even had a hard time fitting it inside the jar that I took with me. So I think that's the one we're gonna use for the experiment because I am curious, does size matter when it comes to the sting of a fireworm? I think today we'll find out. Let's get some seawater in our Petri dish. Nice, clean, and cold. Now time to get out the fireworm. Whoa. Oh yeah. All right, here's second worm going in. Get some of these spines out of there. Check that out. So as you can see, these worms are absolutely covered in thousands of these very small but very sharp venomous spines. Now these spines are constantly growing. So you'll see there's some of them floating around and it really does look like fiberglass. When you look at it under a microscope, you could see just how sharp the points of the spines really are. So really just even a subtle brush into one of these creatures is gonna land you in a world of pain, right where I'm about to be here in just a few more minutes. But you can also see that red coloration is where they get their name, the fireworm, because they look like they're on fire and they certainly feel like it when they touch your skin. Now, a lot of people do come into contact with these worms, namely scuba divers and snorkelers, but you do need to be careful if you're out here swimming. If you're walking along and you feel rocks below your feet, there's a good chance that could be the home of a fireworm. If you step on one of these, it's gonna light you up. Wow, and there we go. Come in tight, let's see that right there. That, to me, is the most impressive thing about the fireworm, besides what the venom can do, is this amazing flaring defense. They can just splay and spread out all of those spines so they can encase their entire body. All of that middle bit there, it's no different than your average worm. In fact, when I squeeze it with these tweezers, they're super soft, they're squishy. And if they weren't covered in these amazingly painful spikes, they would be easy pickings for anything that lives out there in the ocean. So now you've heard me mention more than a few times that these worms are venomous. So while yes, those spines will jam into your flesh like a cactus, they release a toxin. There's a mucus that these worms are coating those spines in, much like a lionfish or a stonefish. And when that toxin gets into the skin, it's gonna cause instant searing pain. And that pain will continue to cycle through as long as those spines are lodged in my skin. And then after that, I'm gonna inevitably deal with tremendous swelling and probably some scarring. This is one of the stings that it's gonna leave lasting damage. Luckily for me, I get stung a lot in this area for the bite sting index, so it's just gonna be one of many scars. It's time to take a sting from this very bizarre marine creature so I can officially rate it on the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index. And this is one of the animals that I have been really curious to rate since we invented the Bite Sting Index for Brave Wilderness, where we rate the sting or bite of an animal in 3 different factors: intimidation, pain, and aftermath. And for this worm, the aftermath is what you're definitely going to want to stick around for, because not only will you see just how bad the burn from a fireworm can be, but I'm going to show you what to do if you are ever stung by one of these venomous creatures. I know how bad this is going to be. Time to find out. What does the burn of the fireworm do to human flesh? On 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Come on, I didn't get me good enough. Maybe one more time. Here we go. Puff up. 1, 2, 3. Ah, yeah, that burns. Ah! No! Oh, it's so. Ah! Woo! Oh, do you see all those spines? Oh my gosh! Ah! Ah! Oh, you can already see it's turning red. Oh, I got stung really bad. That's so many spines. Hundreds. I got stung by hundreds. Ah! Oh, it's so bad. Ah! Ah! Okay. Ah! Ah! Oh gosh.
Mark, are you okay?
Oh, it's bad, dude. It's really bad. Hold on. Ah! Ah! Oh! Ah! 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 Oh my gosh, it's so much worse the first time. I've been stung by these before, but never one that big. I have so many spines in my arm right now. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is gonna be my worst sting ever. This is gonna be my worst sting. Ah! Ah! I gotta let it dry. Because once it dries, I can use this tape to remove the spines. Anything that's like super adhesive. If you don't have duct tape, find something sticky. Just like get that stuff out of there. You need to get those spines out of your skin, because right now I can just feel the venom just like lava flowing over top of itself. It's just as bad as a bullet ant. It's just as bad as a bullet ant. It could be worse. Ha! Ah, don't blow on it. Makes it worse. Oh, come on. Dry. Dry. Ah! All right, I'm gonna walk it off. Hang on, guys. I'm just gonna walk around for a second. Ah. 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 Okay, it's dry. It's dry. All right, I've taken all I can take. I gotta get these out. All right, piece of tape like that. Any tape will do, but I got this so you can see just how many spines I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna try to do this in one swoop. Here we go. You wanna cover the entire area. Oh, wow. I didn't get a moment to go again, but look at that. Look at how many spines are in there. Come on. Ow! Ah. Okay, holy mackerel. Look at those welts coming in. You see that? Oh my gosh, and they don't even look that bad compared to how it feels. Instantly better as soon as you remove the spines. It really makes a big difference. The next thing you want to do, white vinegar. It's gonna help neutralize the burns. Oh yeah. Whatever toxin is left on top of my skin, this vinegar is going to neutralize it. Heavy duty tape, white vinegar. If you don't have it with you, get it as fast as you can, because the faster you can get those spines out of your skin, the sooner you're gonna be on the road to recovery. But I can tell you the road to recovery for this sting is long. And you can see how much the welts are rising. Tomorrow, this is gonna be nasty. Now comes the hard part, the healing process, the aftermath. And the pain score, gonna be high. Intimidation, I'm gonna have to think about that. Aftermath, I'm gonna have a long time to think about that, because the aftermath of this worm is gonna last for weeks. But you don't have to wait weeks. Let's get into it right now and officially rate the Fireworm on the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index. On intimidation, the Fireworm looks intense. The bright red skin combined with thousands of spines remind me of a venomous snake. Plus, having taken a sting before, I know just how easily those spines can get stuck in your skin. And when you see a big one underwater, they are majorly intimidating. So for that, I give it a 7.8 out of 10. For pain, once those spines dug in and started to dose me with venom, the burn was intense. The feeling was similar to being burned and electrocuted over and over again. And unlike my first sting, I got completely nailed this time with at least 5 times the amount of bristles. Needless to say, it hurt badly, and for that, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. The aftermath of the Fireworm is where it scores some serious points. Its burn just kept going and going, day after day and week after week, and the rash would come back with a vengeance, leaving behind these intense itching, pustules, and swelling. Anytime I would get active or start to sweat, the pain would come rushing back, and to this day, there is still some scarring left behind from the burn of this Fireworm. So for this, I give the aftermath score a whopping 9.6 out of 10. All combined, the Fireworm ranks at a 9 on the Brave Wilderness BSI, which is a major score for a majorly painful creature. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure to search for the Brave Wilderness channel on YouTube so you can join me and the crew on our upcoming adventures.